Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to the second part of Muslim Family in Europe. It's me, Mahnaz Bahaji, and Ayatollah Iraqi and Sayyid Muhammad Musavi. No, Sayyid Muhammad Razavi. I always make a mistake between you and Sheikh Musavi, mashallah. Anyway, we all one, as Ayatollah Iraqi was saying, we are all one soul, inshallah, on the earth, trying to help ourselves and the others. And may Allah help us to do that, particularly in non-Muslim society. Sheikh Iraqi, having said that, totally agree, and I'm sure the viewers are agree with your opinion that the parents got to be together, loving, caring, and through that they can really help their children to identify themselves who they are. This identity crisis is a big problem in this society. The kids facing it when they go particularly into university. But there are parents, Ayatollah Iraqi, they are recognizing Islam later on in a life, which the kids missed a lot. Do you have any advice on that? How they can bring, usually they start practicing themselves. The child just says, my mom never covered, my father never prayed. All of a sudden, and then they're asking us to do. They can't understand that. How are they going to help their own situation?
There are many ways, but the main things that they can do is to show a good picture of Islam to their children. Because children don't know anything about Islam, don't know anything about the Islamic culture, Islamic teachings, Islamic life. They have to show a very, very nice example of Islamic life to them. To show an Islamic example has different way or different type of showing Islamic example. Let them to read about Islamic examples like Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, or our Imams, or their followers, their real followers. How did they live? How did they practice? How did they do towards other person, towards society, their society? To show some real and good examples of Islamic life, Islamic personality is very important. They can show this example via themselves, because if they practice Islam very well, they can show an example, and good example of Islam or of Islamic living through their action, through their life, and their especially how they choose the relation between themselves and their children. The relation and their action towards their children is very important in this case. This is the first thing, and another thing is try to teach them, to educate them, to encourage them to read about Islam if they can.
Very, very difficult job, Ayatollah Iraqi. I do know families that suddenly mothers just wants to be on a prayer mat all the time, and not because deliberate, it's just because of the love of praying. Suddenly she forgets the cleaning, the cooking, or the time that she has to go to join the events that happening in a school that the child asked and the teachers requested. these kind of things is very easy to say. They find it very difficult. And when we talk to the mother, and she just says, I cannot help that. The only way I feel that I can survive in this society, half of the day I spend. I mean, it reduced now. By Allah, it's reduced those yearning to pray and constantly talk to Allah. But then the other thing is, you know, a child would just see, because we live in this society, there's so many choices. The child will say, okay, mom, you chosen that, I don't want to know. And the mother suffers, and particularly the father suffers. The child wants to go with mini skirt out, or wants to come out late at night. That's what they were doing before. Now they're changing it. This is very easy for us to say. But what you said, again, the calmness and the practicing of the parents is the first key. How do you think, Sheikh Razavi, we can do this to help these parents? I have got lots of questions from them. They want to know, you know, what is the next step?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not easy, especially if you have been living with one type of lifestyle and suddenly change. Mm-hmm. So the first step is usually taken by the parents. I mean, father and mother, if they decide to come back to Islam, then the best way is to discuss it with the children. Don't surprise them. Don't order them. They have to explain to them, look, we were not practicing Islam before, and we are supposed to be a better Muslim, and if we practice Islam, we become better Muslim. And we will not be able to achieve anything without your cooperation. And it's good you should try to make them understand that it's good for their future and akhirah, and good. It is good for their society. If they are telling the young daughter not to go out with miniskirt, they should explain what are the benefits and what are the harms of being with hijab and practicing Islam. Or if she's coming late back home, they have to sit down and discuss and explain to them. And we have in Islamic teachings that, and this is especially for the families who are trying to bring children in any environment, that for the first 7 years, parents should be friends with them. For the second 7 years, they should educate them about Islam. And for the third, second year, they should be, first 7 years, they should let them do what they like to do, but with control, with monitoring what they are doing. Second 7 years, they should educate them about Islam. And third 7 years, they should be friends and wazir, and they should consult with them. They should not impose anything on them. So that is the best method. If the children are of that age, that they have reached the age that they think that they know everything, you can't educate them by force. You have to discuss with them and make them understand what is right and what is wrong.
So with this case of parents who return back to practicing,
it's not easy.
Because sure. the first and second 7 years is past.
Yeah, and that's why it's going to be more difficult, because they are the ones who set the example. They were not practicing before, and now suddenly they want to shift from not practicing to practicing. So the adults who have decided that this is what they want, they can do it. But for the children, it will take time to gradually make them understand, as Ayatollah Araki was mentioning. First, they have to set the example by their own practice. Like get up and pray, get up and fast, observe hijab, don't listen to wrong music, behave properly with neighbors and others. And this will gradually give the message to the children that this is the lifestyle the parents want.
Yes, this is something that you mentioned. Don't listen to the wrong music. So I want your opinion and Ayatollah Araki's opinion on this. The wrong music, what is wrong, what is right?
Well,
I know we can't fulfill it in this program, but
yeah,
just briefly.
This is a totally different subject.
It is.
But I'm sure Ayatollah Araki will explain. Music, if it's composed for Islam and Islamic reason, with the right instruments and right purpose, is right. but the wrong type of music which creates lahv and la'ib and wrong inclinations.
But the poem, you mean, in a music? But is a plain music is fine?
Well, you cannot easily define as plain music or not. It depends how it is composed and what is it composed for.
Okay, that is one of the problem. These three parents, emailed me. They want to know the child constantly. I mean, they used to listen themselves and then they left it. So how far?
Yeah, this is one of
the balance.
Yeah, this is one of the points. For example, if the family were not practicing and listening to music, and they suddenly decide to become a practicing Muslim and don't listen to music, it will be very difficult because they themselves set the wrong example from the start. Now they have changed and they suddenly want their children to change. So it's a gradual process. They should not give up. They should continuously
just
educate them, keep advising, and inshallah it will change.
Okay, Ayatollah Araki, what are the sort of, I know there are nasheed, they singing for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, all the rest, but this type of family, either they live in a non-Muslim society, is only isolated, one family Muslim, or they return back to Islam. They're facing this difficulty that they were listening themselves, now they give up, or they were practicing. They still, music has got a great influence on our children. So what type of music is that? Is that classic music like Beethoven, Wagner, I don't know, some classic music, old music in Iran, be called Shajarian, I don't know, the other one, many old music that we have. So music with the instrument, is that allowed to listen so they can just not bother the kids? Or what type of is it? How far can we go?
The criterion of halal music.
Yeah, what is halal music?
Is that the first thing, the music has to avoid a wrong meaning or a wrong message. If the music gave people a wrong message, if the music leads people to a wrong way, to a wrong goals, this kind of music is not allowed. This is the first criterion.
This is the first criteria. Okay, then the second step.
Second is the type of music which is especially for the bad environments. For example, the type of music which don't use but by the people in the bad environments, in the bad circles, in the bad in the negative situations.
So in fact, Ayatollah Araki, the people who play the instrument within the music, these people, what I understand you're trying to say, they have to be a believer. They've got to pray. They have to believe in the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Rasulullah, but then they play this music. Those kind of people who play the instrument is all right.
No. I give you an example. For example, the music the music which used in the church, for example, this type of music, you can't use this type of music in the, for example, the pop, for example.
Okay.
The pop is special environments. People who gathered
in a disco, in a pub, the same music, if it's in a theater, is fine, but over there shouldn't be joined.
This adequate music for the pop.
Okay.
Adequate music for for example, some negative situation, negative environment. Okay. If this kind of music is adequate with this kind of majlis, this kind of circles, this kind of environments.
I see.
And do not